This party's getting crazy. Let's rock, baby. My name is Renegade Operative. I am your unruly host, and today we are covering the Devil May Cry series. Devil May Cry is a well-loved and established hack-and-slash medium, and I would like to rate all of the games from best to worst with this smoking sexy style of a tier list. So, as we can see with our tier list, we have the following, which is equivalent to the ranking categories that you will see in the game when you pull off a combo. There is Smokin' Sexy Style, which is obviously top of the line, top tier DMC, the games that you should be looking at if you're going out of your way to buy these titles. And then we go down from awesome to badass, crazy, and dismal. Dismal is the worst of the worst. Dumpster juice, pure toxic waste in your system. Is basically a bad breakfast, so you don't want that shit to compound your system, and that's where those games are going to go if they hit the dismal category. We have the rankings here, which is in order of Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the reboot, the proposed reboot that everyone seems to hate from Ninja Theory. I will be going down the list and seeing what I think about them. Without further delay, without further ado, let's get right into this crazy madhouse of a series and talk about the first Devil May Cry. The first DMC is quite honestly astonishing. When this game came out and I played it, it was the early 2000s, and I just remember being so blown away by the hack-and-slash combat, the dark gothic themes, and how they presented this, and the fact that this game had a very illustrious history. How it was a Resident Evil game at first for Resident Evil 4, then they changed it in mid-development because it got a little too stylish to handle on the RE side. This game was definitely something that reinvented the wheel for a hack-and-slash beat-em-up hybrid, and it definitely set a precedent for the series because it started its own thing, and I really have an affinity for this first title. However, that being said, there is some negatives. The first thing I don't like about DMC1 is that it is dated. Let's be honest, people. It is hard to go back to really consider it as top echelon DMC. The controls are definitely a mess from what I remember. I remember the jump button being mapped to triangle, and that was just ugh. Like, I'm glad they fixed that in the HD remaster. I'm so glad they went back out of their way and decided, hey, jump as triangle is the stupidest thing we could ever do. Let's not do that again. However, this is like dated because this is their first attempt at the series. I'm not devaluing anything that it did at all. I just can't say that it's smoking sexy style. I would rank DMC1 in the awesome category. Good bosses. It has a cool story too. Like, you want to unravel the mystery of Malay Island as you go along and fight Mundus. I just can't say it's any better than what I described because, once again, dated controls and just some of the stuff about it feels old to me. However, that being said, if you want a good blast, if you want a good time, if you don't care, if you like that retro shit, if you want to go back and enjoy gothic Devil May Cry for what it was definitely an amazing experience for what it was at the time, and I would give it that awesome category. Next we have DMC2, and this is an easy ranking for me. I would put this in the dismal category. I did not like Devil May Cry 2 whatsoever. I think there is some factors involved, like Dante is more mobile, and they incorporated that later into the series with Gunslinger. Him just sliding on the walls and everything, doing these crazy, insane backflips. That was pretty impressive. However, this game suffers from the fact that it is boring in the sense of a gameplay loop. When you go from DMC1 that had cool combos, you had Ifrit, you had the electrical sword that could do all this crazy shit like high times, and you could turn into a demon and do these electrical javelins at people, and it was just fucking sick. And you had the double arms, and you had the shotgun in the air. You know what people like to do is just do a high time, hike them up, or air hike, and then do like a fucking shotgun blast. That was cool while jumping in the process. Like, DMC2 just isn't that incredible from a combat perspective because most of the enemies that you're basically dealing with are just bullet sponges, and you're shooting them the entire time, and that's just a gameplay loop that works over combos, and that's pretty abysmal. I think that you shouldn't be able to simply just stand there and shoot bosses and then it's an automatic win button. Considering what the series was known for, considering what it was established for, which is crazy insane mix-ups and changing all your weapons and doing all these crazy sword combos, it is the antithesis of a Devil May Cry game, because if you do one stinger, you knock the enemy away and therefore you can easily lose your combo. I just don't like that game at all. I don't like this game whatsoever. I tried so many times to get into it. There is redeeming qualities. There is things like Dante obviously looking the best that he ever has been in the series, with that cool slick black leather jacket in the red and everything. Oh god, that's just so fucking awesome. You want to slap your mama. Don't slap your mama, please. Don't listen to my advice. They tried to add Lucia in, so you finally have the two character dynamic for the first time in the series. They tried their best with this one, and I just think that it's a flat dud. This game was supposedly rushed, and it indeed shows in its product. You should never make Devil May Cry boring in the first place. Next, we have Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening. This is where they decided to scale back all that bullshit and say, hey, we're going back to roots. We're going back to what the series was known for. Wild, crazy, over-the-top shenanigans that you will enjoy. You will see Dante ride on a missile in this game. You will see Dante stabbed, shot repeatedly and say one-liners. You will see people get shot with fucking billiard balls. You will see the craziest stuff you have ever fathomed in any cutscene whatsoever, and I perfectly adored Devil May Cry 3. I think it is top of the class. I think this is where they molded the next 3 games on that has that same quality value to it. It's what you came for. It finally established the fact that this is its own subgenre now. This is pure hack and slash 101. We have guitars being used as weapons. We have fucking big ass sniper rifles that we can shoot people in and do a trick shot. We have shotguns. We have dual swords, like one is wind and one is fucking fire. We have everything that you need right here, and the cream of the crop is that the story is so good. The characterization is so great. You really feel for Dante and the characters. You see them evolve and grow into characters they turn into later in the series, while having all of that make perfect sense. It doesn't get any better than Devil May Cry 3. If you got like the special edition, you get to play as Virgil as well. He is an overpowered madman, and I loved every singular bit of this complete offering, this complete experience. The platforming, I haven't talked about the platforming. It's not the greatest, but it's such a small cog in the wheel of negativity that it just gets washed clean by all the positive virtues of this particular iteration. I cannot recommend Devil May Cry 3 well enough. You must play this game if you're first getting into the series. Alright, half the series done. Next we move on to Devil May Cry 4. It has the introduction of a new hero, which is Nero, and what he brings to the table with the Devil Bringer. Dante's in this game, but he's in like the later back half where you play as him, yet the game doesn't really feel designed around Dante. That's one of the main criticisms that people seem to have with DMC, is the fact that he doesn't hit as hard and you have to do more work with him. Whereas Nero, the game's like super easy street because they made it where he's like new playable character, new arm, he's going to hit harder. And it makes this weird paradigm between both of the characters that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not fun to play, engage with, and experience. There is some development history of Devil May Cry 4 supposedly being a more lengthy game, more levels tailored to Dante, and supposedly because they changed some things from Devil May Cry 4 being an exclusive title, that meant that Capcom had to scrap some ideas. I think this game suffers in development time and definitely platforming because there's moments where you could grim grip into a ceiling of spikes and it gets very annoying that way. They did enhance on things with Virgil coming back into the special edition once again, and I guess you could say it is some interesting plot beats here or there, but the plot is like not the biggest in terms of stakes. It kind of feels like a side story to me for DMC4. Even with all these problems, they still retain new elements. I like styles on the fly where Dante, instead of going to a sub menu like he does in DMC3, you could switch your style on the fly from Royal Guard, Trickster, Sword Master, and Gunslinger. The reason why this game is a step down from Devil May Cry 3 is because of those underlying factors that it introduced that I talked about earlier. Like I said, very weak platforming to the point where it got even more annoying in this game. The fact that they tried to make the game balance around one character and the secondary character, which is Dante, suffers for it. But I do like the Devil Bringer. I do like the fact that they introduced these new wild and crazy combos. They try to add in on DMC3, they try to add styles on the fly, yet it feels like something suffers in this game, and I think it always points back to the fact that the production was halved and they really never got to experience and witness their true vision due to Capcom deciding to say, hey, we need this on all consoles. I'm sorry, you have to compromise development. That's why Devil May Cry 4 is a step down into the awesome category. Bang, 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 pull my devil trigger. Well, what can we do? We could upset the entire Devil May Cry fan base by putting Devil May Cry 5 in the Dismal category. It is the worst game ever. No, it's smokin' sexy style. I'm sorry about that, guys. I know your heart was racing for a second. Your heart was pounding, wasn't it? I got you, motherfuckers. I got you. Woo! I had to just pull one troll on people. Devil May Cry 5 is 100% awesome. This is the series returning once again to what it knows. Crazy, stylish combat. This is once again helmed by Insuno. It is done on the RE engine. After a long hiatus from Devil May Cry 4, we come back with 4 returning heroes, Dante, Nero, and the mysterious V. This game centers all around the fundamentals of DMC4, but the levels are now built around these 3 characters. Therefore, Dante can do shit that's like super awesome, and it feels like he's not doing nerf damage to the opponents, as well as adding on to previous established weapons and adding on more features like Send Devil Trigger, doing all these wild combos, these pulse combos in between, and just enhancing that formula through every degree, making the player think, having a variety of weapons, giving Nero these signature devil arms that could do various things to the opponent, whether it could be riding around on a rocket arm or doing some masturbation stimulating health with the masturbation arm, or whatever they call it, the sweet surrender. Like, this game does it all in terms of variety and options, which is something I heavily appreciate, and it's something that sort of harkens back to DMC3 and DMC4 put together. If you are a fan of both of those games, you will definitely be a fan of DMC5. Once again, DMC5 does have some lingering nitpicks, like the story feeling way too fan service at the end. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it 100. There's also the fact that V's gameplay is not too stellar, because this is the first time they tried to do a ranged character that has like certain flaws to his combat. You have 2 avatars mostly fighting the enemies while he stands back and he finishes them off with a cane. It's not riveting in terms of like DPS, where you're up close and personal beating all the enemies up into a senseless pulp. That being said, small criticisms, this game is 100% worth your money, time, and patience. Last but not least, the Devil May Cry reboot, the game that everyone hates, the game with some of the worst PR in history, saying that Dante is from Brokeback Mountain from the previous iterations. The developers were completely disrespectful to the fans of this game, and they were very vocal about it on Twitter. That being said, I am the type of person who separates the art from the artist. Therefore, if Tamim from Ninja Theory was talking a lot of shit, he surely did a great job on this game to the point where I would recommend this game above DMC2. I just don't know. Should it be badass or crazy? They introduced some cool elements. Like, I would say this is where the platforming is actually good. It's also good in 5, but I didn't note that as a criticism. You could pull things to your direction. You have limbo, which looked awesome. Some of the combos that you could do and the crazy, like, fucking Hulk arm, beating people up with that was fun. I think the definitive experience is obviously playing this on the PS4 for Definitive Edition, where you get everything in the package and 60 FPS. That being said, I don't know how far I can rank this game, because when it first came out, it was like they were saying some ridiculous statements where 30 FPS would feel like 60, blah blah blah, which wasn't fucking true at all. I don't know what crack Ninja Theory were smoking when they said that. There's also the matter of just how the characterization is lower than it ever has been in DMC fame. Emo Dante is just, I don't know, he's kind of a dick, really. He's kind of a dick. He follows Virgil throughout the entire story, then kind of gets shocked when he gets betrayed, even though the signs were there when he neglected Cat like 10 times already, saying fuck humanity. Woo, this is a tough call. I like the style of this game, honestly, just the core fundamental gameplay. This is probably the best game Ninja Theory has ever created in their sort of catalog for hack and slash combat, because Heavily Sword was not it. Will I be controversial and say this is badass? Will I be controversial and say this is badass? This game is also kind of too easy. Ooh, I guess I'm gonna go in the mid route and say this game is crazy. Once again, it gets a lot of hate. Some of that hate is definitely justified. Some of it really is not. I think this game is fun. It can be fun. It has its values. It has its flaws. I would say it is crazy. It's definitely far superior than Devil May Cry 2 by a landslide. If you are seeking a Devil May Cry game that is somewhat decent, this will be the game to go to, as well as harboring easier combat. However, on paper, it is not above the original series in terms of how they handle combat, how they did things, how they handle Dante. The unique cool factor is just gone for this emo dweeb. I just think that doing that and saying not in a million years, constantly mocking the series, I can see why it turned people off. That being said, it's not as bad as everyone says this game is. I think after a while, this game really started to grow on me a little bit. I definitely played it more than once. It is a hecking good time. However, the mechanics does not transcend the original DMCs up here, and I think that is fair. I think that is fine to say. Interesting reboot, though, all things considered. With all the drama involved, interesting reboot. That is my opinion on the Devil May Cry series from best to worst. I hope you guys really enjoyed my sort of discussion on the entire franchise and everything that I thought, and finding those opinions to be interesting. Tell me what you thought in the comment section below. If you like this video, please slap a like on it, share it out. It really helps me out a lot. Share your love for Devil May Cry, and I will see you guys next time. Later.